Hey guys, today we are talking about the top 8 things that I have continued to do after learning about practicing the Curly Girl method and trying all the things for a couple of years. I've talked about in a different video here recently where I discussed hair products that I love and trust, and I'm going to link that at some point in time here in a card. I'll throw that up at the top. The Curly Girl method is something that was created by Laura Massey years ago, and it has to do with using specific product types and doing different styling techniques, and all of these things vary depending on what kind of curl pattern you have. Textured hair can be everything from just slight waves to really tight, beautiful, coily curls. The Curly Girl Handbook was written by Laura and is sort of a Bible for those that follow the whole Curly Girl community. And if you're here watching this video, I'm going to assume that you already know there's things that she says you should avoid, like shampoo that has sulfates in it, using different heat tools and products that have silicones and waxes. And I'm not going to get into a whole mess of that stuff. I'm going to talk about the lessons that I learned from not only the method itself, but also the whole Curly Girl community. There are several Facebook pages out there. There's a lot of social media dedicated to this. And some things are really worth your time in learning. And some things are just very overwhelming, and it can be a really limiting process to follow. And quite honestly, it's exhausting. I did it, I liked it, and I think it helped my curl pattern for a little while, but not enough of a significant change that I felt like it was worth not being able to ever try anything new or having to limit myself to her kind of technique. It was worth it. I feel like it was worth it to mess around with for a couple years, just because there's some really valuable insights that I learned from doing that whole program. I want to share with you the top 8 things that I've learned from it, and some of them are not exactly Curly Girl method, but more from the community that I learned. So if you're interested in that, stick around. Okay, so let me just start by saying that my hair is 2C, 3A. I have 2C, kind of a wave pattern, and then some tighter 3A curls underneath, kind of on the inside a little bit. And it's very fine, and it's high porosity because I do get highlights and lowlights done to it on a regular basis. That is also not Curly Girl approved. So if your hair is similar to mine, these are some of the things that I have found that continue to work for me, even though I don't follow the whole method anymore. Number 1, applying your products to soaking wet hair. I'm talking still in the shower, flip your head upside down and work the product through while it is still soaking wet. Not damp, not wet, soaking wet. And this, my hair girl has issues with this. She's like, it waters it down. Here's the thing. You're trapping in that moisture. You are going to have a shinier, smoother curl pattern, and it helps really, really seal in the good stuff, especially if you've just done like a deep conditioner treatment, something like that. Number 2, microfiber towels only. No terry cloth ever. T-shirts also work. Here's the thing about, and I'm going to show you my little microfiber towel that I use. It's just like a little, I think they're like hair turbies or something like that. I can't remember what they're called. I can link it. Absolutely worthwhile. And the reason why is that the coarse texture of a typical terry cloth towel can damage or rough up your hair. There's a lot of excess friction that comes from that. So that is then going to turn around and break up your curls, break up the curl pattern, and that's going to lead to frizz. So microfiber only, no terry cloth allowed. Number 3, diffuser drying only. And I say this with an asterisk next to the number because this isn't really Curly Girl. You're not supposed to use any kind of hair dryer on there. Air dry for her only. However, if you're going to do it, low heat with a diffuser. Never high heat straight on hair dryer, because the hot air, surprise, surprise, is damaging. And if you don't have your hands on a Black Orchid diffuser, like, what are you even doing with your life? This is a miracle worker, and you can use these pipe fitting things to make it sit on any hair dryer. I've had this on here for probably 3 years, and it is, I think it's come off one time. It's fantastic. Moving on. Number 4, a satin pillowcase. If you don't have a satin pillowcase, and I don't care with where I'm going to talk about hair and sleep, what you do with your hair at night when you're trying to sleep, I'm going to talk about that too, but the satin pillowcase is key. I'm telling you, it is less friction on your curl, less friction on the hair follicle itself, so your hair just kind of glides over the top of it when you're moving around at night, and that means less breakage. And not only less breakage, but also less tangles. So tangles lead to things getting knotted up and kind of just a hot mess overnight. I'm telling you, satin pillowcase. Mine's in the wash, or I'd show it to you to prove it to you that I use it. Number 5, speaking of sleeping, sleep style discipline. Put an asterisk next to this one too, because this isn't exactly Curly Girl taught. This is more of something that you'll learn about from the community. You should be either sleeping with your hair, and there's a variety of ways to do it, but for me personally, I will either do a hair buff, which I'll show a picture of, not of myself. That's what it looks like to sleep in a hair buff. Or if you have satin scrunchies or the Invisibobble, these are great. If you don't, my cat loves these too. She thinks these are the best thing ever. Using an Invisibobble or a satin scrunchie, you just flip your head over, take your scrunchie or your Invisibobble, and you do a top pony, or people in this community will call it a pineapple. I have to be careful still because of my wrist. All right. Isn't that gorgeous? You'll only need to wrap it around there once or twice too. It can be a loose top pony. And then just pull a little bit out in the front. That's how I sleep most of the time. I'm telling you, this is a killer way to sleep. And the reason is because the hair that's encountering your pillow at night is now all, except for this front section, but I can't imagine many of us are sleeping with our face down on purpose. It's all the underside, okay? And so then when you let your hair down the next morning, all that hair that's been roughed up overnight is on the underside, and the top hair has been protected in the center. Does that make sense? I'm sitting here looking at my viewfinder trying to make sure I'm pointing in the right direction. So it helps kind of preserve your curl pattern, reduces frizz. I'm telling you, pineapple or hair buff every night. Number 6, your refresher routine. Get a good refresher routine down. It is just conditioner water. Like, I'm telling you, 90% water and just a little bit of a leave-in conditioner. This one is the Giovanni Direct Leave-In Weightless Conditioner that I use. It's lasted me for years. Like, this is probably 2 years old because you're using just such a little bit. Mix the two together, spray it on, go over and smooth down the length of your hair. And that's enough. That's enough right there for just a quick refresh and to kind of help get rid of some of that frizz that might have occurred overnight. And then the other thing I'll do if I have time is I'll just take a little bit of this in the palm of my hand, just 1 or 2 squirts of it. And then whatever gel product you're using, take just a little bit of that, like I'm talking dime size amount, mix it. The gel and the conditioner water, mix that together, run that over the length of your hair, flip your head upside down, scrunch, and then if need be, if that's still not good enough for you and you want a little more something like curl pattern going on, a little more shape, hit it with a real quick blast with your diffuser and your blow dryer. Just hold it up for like 5 or 6 seconds. There's not a lot of dampness in your hair. You've just used a little bit of that refresh technique. You're helping refresh that curl pattern, and just the quick blast with the diffuser will help helps dry it so that it isn't as weighed down. But you don't even need to necessarily do that. As a matter of fact, most of the time I don't. Number 7, cleansing conditioners or co-washes. I wish that somebody had told me about these when I was younger, but they didn't. So we didn't learn about this stuff until we were older. My favorite is the Bounce Curl Cleansing Conditioner. This stuff is phenomenal. It is gentler on textured hair. Co-washes are gentler on textured hair, and it helps you retain your moisture, which means less frizz. And we all want a little less frizz in our lives, right? Number 8, no heat styling tools. And I say that with the exception of the hair dryer on low heat. My hair can tolerate low heat from that dryer, and actually the high fan speed. The high speed, low heat is what I use when I dry my hair, when I diffuse it. It just can. Yours might not be able to, but mess around with it. It's okay to try, right? Your hair isn't going to break off and fall out of your head. It's okay to try. But I am pretty adamant still with the no curling iron. I will only get my curling iron out if I'm trying to do something like maybe it's a special event and everything needs to be on point, and I have something like, I don't know, this thing that is doing something weird, and I want to have that lay down more with the rest of my curl pattern. So I might just adjust 1 or 2 little strips of hair here and there, but that's it. I do not get out my curling iron anymore, hardly ever. But that's the thing about natural curls. There's such a beautiful mix of curl patterns that's what makes it beautiful, and that's what makes it unique. But compared to what I used to do, where I would go around and tweak hair curls all over my head of hair, no, I don't do that anymore. And plus, that stuff doesn't last anyway. This curl pattern, my natural whatever it's going to do pattern, is going to last for days. Much more so than going at it with a curling iron will. Now this section is bothering me. Anyway, so that is it. That is my top 8 tips that I keep and still use from having done the Curly Girl method for years. And let me tell you, these things I continue to do because they make a difference. A lot of that other stuff is just exhausting. Okay, so that's it, guys. The top 8 things that I still continue to use from having done the Curly Girl method for a couple of years there. I tried it out. Some things I liked, some things I don't think were necessary. So this is what worked for my hair. I'm not saying this is perfect for everyone, but it's okay to try. You should absolutely branch out, try different products, try different methods, try different techniques. Do not pigeonhole yourself into a corner of following a very strict list of rules if that stresses you out. If it doesn't and it's working for you, that's great. You probably agree that everything that I just talked about is smart, except for maybe the hairdryer part. Regardless. Also, one last thing, guys, please don't forget to enter my Scrunch It One and Done giveaway. I have 3 different sample packets here. I'm going to link the video above that the giveaway details are in. And I will put a link for that video in the bottom as well. So there'll be a card and a link at the bottom if you're going to watch all the way to the end. Thank you very much for doing so. They are in the process right now of changing their packaging over from bottles to more of this style of container. I'm not sure what the status is right now of their stock, what they have in stock, but they are bringing it back. It is never going away. They promised me that. And I do have an affiliate code. It's going to save you 10%. I'm going to put that down below as well. Please use it. I'm telling you, this is the best. And it really is just a matter of, would you please comment on it and tell me what your favorite hairstyle product is? That's it. That's all I'm asking for. So go watch that video next, and that's it. That's literally it. Like, I'm not asking for a lot. Oh, and have a good day. See you in the next video.